This tooth is sticking forward and it's a little too short. So it's not very much orthodontics we're going to do on him, but we're still going to put braces on all of his teeth. So what we first do is we've cleaned his teeth, and now we're going to put what we call a lip stretcher in his mouth. And what we do is we put this in here like this. Cody, how's that feel? Okay, you want to put your tongue back behind that little piece. Now just bite down on the plastic. So what this does is this allows us to look at his teeth and be sure we keep them dry. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to place some cleaning material on his teeth, and actually it's an acid that will clean the teeth off really well so that we can apply the braces to him. So we just put a little swipe on it. It doesn't taste very good when we get it onto his tongue. I always tell people it tastes something like pigeon spit or something like that. I'm sorry, Cody, to make you laugh. Keep your mouth closed here, but you know, this is fun, this orthodontic thing. It smells bad too. Kind of smells like sauerkraut, I think. Okay, we leave that on there for a few seconds, 30 seconds. And that's going to, what we call, etch the teeth. And you'll see that once we get it cleaned off and dried off, that it makes the teeth out chalky white. It's not the same thing as bleach, but it'll make it nice and white, and that allows the cement to adhere. Cody, stay closed. It's important that we keep the teeth nice and dry during this part, so the next thing I'm going to do is apply a sealant, and this is the first part of the cement that holds the bracket onto the tooth. You can tell it kind of brings the shine back to the teeth where the acid etch made them look chalky. So we apply this to all the teeth, all the way around. You okay, Cody? He gave me a thumbs up. Okay, now we're ready to put the braces on. The first ones we're going to put on are the front top braces. We're going to put those on and show you how those go on. Then I'll put the rest of the braces on after that, and then we'll cut away to the final deal for you. So the first bracket here goes on the cuspid tooth, and you can see the star shape that it has. The stars are really interesting to put on. They're really actually kind of easier than regular braces because they have such a shape that it really makes it easy to place them on the tooth. Now I'll use a little mirror just to make sure that I have it lined up correctly. In the middle of the bracket there's a little line that we can adjust it so that the bracket is oriented towards the length, the whole length, the long axis of the tooth. And then I have a measuring device here that shows me exactly how far from the edge of the tooth it should be, which is 5 millimeters. And I'm going to adjust that just a little bit. And now that tooth is in the right spot, the bracket. And then this is the lateral incisor, and that has the same vertical line in it. Now I'm using this Explorer to take away a little extras of cement, because our goal is to keep the cement all the way underneath the bracket. One thing really great about these Wild Smiles brackets is that they're a little bit bigger than a regular bracket, and I think it helps when you're brushing your teeth, that it keeps the plaque from being on the tooth, and it's just right on the bracket. So it's easy to just then brush the teeth and get the plaque off the bracket. Now each tooth has its own bracket. So the teeth on the right side are different shapes and angulate differently than on the left side, so that every tooth has its own bracket. They're not all the same. So they're designed just specifically for the curvature of each tooth. Again, I want to line that up in the long axis of the tooth. I'm going to measure this tooth again. One thing about these particular brackets, they're all exactly the same size, so they're easy to line up with each other. So you can see, like this central incisor, we want this to be just a little bit longer than the lateral incisor, so the position at the end of the star is just a little bit different on each of those. So it's easy for me to even visually see it without having to measure every one. So I won't have to measure this one on the left side, but I will just in case I don't see it correctly. But again, I'm using this Explorer to take off a little bit of extra cement that's on there. Now there's a variety of gauges that orthodontists will use. I like this particular star gauge because it has a variety of different positions, so that you just rotate it around to find the height you want on the tooth. So once I get these placed, I'm going to use an ultraviolet light on the brackets and the teeth, and that will fix the bracket right to the tooth. The cement will not set up until I put the ultraviolet light on it. So we'll show you that, how that works, and then once we finish with that, we're going to drop back, put the rest of his braces on, and then show you the finished smile with the braces on. And Cody has decided he wants colors on his braces today, so we're going to put colored ties on. He's a fan of Baylor University, so we're going to put gold and green on for him. Or it's really yellow and green here, but so now this is the ultraviolet light, and what this does, we leave this on each tooth for a little while, and it will have the cement set up. It's about 30 to 50 seconds per tooth. So we'll be with you in the next shot, showing you applying the ligatures and the wires. Okay, now we've got all his braces on and we're starting to apply the wire and the ligatures. So right here we've got the wire in. This is what's going to move the teeth. What happens is we put the wire in, and sometimes the teeth are really crooked, and so the wire wants to straighten itself out, and as it straightens itself out, the teeth become straight. So these little elastics, they go around each tooth, and what they do is they will hold the wire onto the bracket. So again, I said Cody was a Baylor fan, and so we've got the green and our version of gold. It's a little yellow. I'll show you another technique that people do sometimes. Is sometimes if the teeth are really crooked, what they'll do is they'll just hook up half of the bracket like this. They'll just hook it on there like a little diagonal, and that will help straighten the teeth without as much pressure right away. Another thing they'll do is they'll put a steel ligature on. I'll show you what that looks like a little bit later. I'll take off that yellow one and I'll put a steel ligature on there and show you what that looks like. And sometimes the steel ligature they use just to make it tighter, or if it needs so a little extra force on it, they put that steel ligature on. So now I'm done putting these on, his top teeth, and I'll take that Explorer again and I'll remove that. I'll show you how the ligatures come off like this. What they'll do is they'll put this little Explorer in there, they'll pull on it and take it off. Now there are different kinds of brackets that have different ways of attaching the wire to it, but this is the most common kind. And here is this steel ligature we talked about, and that comes on there like that. The orthodontist will twist the wire like this, and then what he needs to do is cut that wire and poke it underneath something. So what we'll do is we'll cut that off and show you how that works. But again, we use this wire just to make it tight. So sometimes it's pretty funny when you have a whole mouth of these just hanging out, and it looks a little weird, but that's what we do. And then when we cut it off, we just make a little cut in it like that, and then we take an instrument and we push it in so that it doesn't poke the lip. Now then, sometimes then on the next appointment we'll need to remove that, and we go ahead and we cut it. We cut that off. Sometimes it's easier than others to cut. And we cut that off, and then we can put a new wire in. I didn't get that cut. Oh yeah, I did. Just fell off a different way. I'll use that Explorer again to get that off. Now I need another yellow ligature so that Cody can leave with his new braces on. Okay, Cody, show us that wild smile. Thanks.